Welcome back to Stadia Source, your number one source for Stadia news and reviews. This is the Stadia Source Roundtable podcast. My name is Avery, and we've got a great show tonight, so let's get to it. With me tonight, we've got Dan the Man.
How's it going, everybody?
We've got the Dominator, Doc.
Good evening.
We got your favorite cowboy, Anthony.
I'm a cowboy.
Oh, yeah. And we're rocking around the Christmas tree tonight with our special guest. You may know him from the Stadia Rocks channel with such hit shows as Rock Stars at Night and Cloudburst with yours truly. It's Rokk.
Hey, howdy doody.
Good to have you on board tonight, Mr. Rokk. Before we get started, did you know you can get the Roundtable as an actual podcast in your earbud? Search for Stadia Source on Spotify, Pocket Casts, Apple Podcasts, or wherever it is that you get podcasts. Also, if you're watching us live, we want you to be a part of the conversation. Be sure to say hi in the chat. And if you want to be sure that we bring your message up during the show, use that super chat or super sticker feature to let us know that you love your friends here at Stadia Source. Last but not least, you can join Stadia Source right here on YouTube. Members get amazing perks, such as exclusive community play live streams, early access to videos, Stadia Source merch, and all that good stuff. So hit that join button down below to learn more and become a member. Our good friend Rokk, in case people don't know who you are, and honestly, how could anybody not know the wonder that is Rokk? Why don't you take a couple moments and let folks know about you, tell them your history with Stadia, content creation, gaming, all that good stuff.
Avery knows I hate doing this.
It's in the show notes. You can't avoid it. I made up.
I know. He tells me every time we do Cloudburst, Rokk, your turn. So I've been creating content largely around Stadia. Most of it's around Stadia since February of this year. So I'm a baby in the whole content creating thing. But yeah, it's kind of my stream is a variety of Rock branded shows. So as you pointed out, last night was Stadia Rocks Live with Ray. So it was Rock and Ray. Wait, get out of it. It's my slot.
Feeling your limelight.
Cheek of it.
I'm trying to hide myself. I just realized my space heater is on, so there's probably just a nice buzzing sound underneath me. So live podcasts, people.
He hates it because you can't do it on my show. That's what it is. And so last night was Stadia Rocks. Now he's gone completely with Ray. Tomorrow night we've got our game streaming extravaganza. He's put me right off. I can't do this anymore. How can you soar like an eagle when you're flying with turkeys?
Rokk, start from the beginning.
I don't understand. Okay, Rokk. So, Rokk, tell us about your history with gaming and how you got into content creation and Stadia and all that good stuff. I'm not going to edit this.
I remember I was 6 years old on the docks at Southampton, ready to get on the boat to emigrate to Australia. How far back do you want to go, by the way?
and there she was, the Titanic, gorgeous.
Yes, no, not that far. Cheeky. So yes, so there's a few shows a week, and they've all got Rokk on the front. So just go looking for them. You can't miss them.
With the exception of Cloudburst, which still, it's on the
yes,
channel.
That is an exception. You're right.
In this box where we are.
I've enjoyed having you on it up until now.
You'll notice I'm not there this week. I wonder if it's because he kicked me off. No, it's because
that's true. No, we have Chris from Sounds of Stadia on this Saturday. It's going to be good.
Good buddy, Sounds of Stadia. So
and
we were just on their the Game Awards official co-stream. It was all official and stuff. So go back and check that out. If you didn't watch the Game Awards, watch it with us. Watch us watching it with you. Yeah, it's fine.
That's how I did it.
Well, thank you, Rokk. We're glad to have you here to discuss a pretty big week in Stadia. So let's get started, however, as we always do, with what have we been playing. So we'll start. I'll start. I never start with myself, so I'm going to start with myself today. And every time I do, I always say that I never start with myself. So you'd think there'd be a pattern there. So what's been on my playlist has been Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I have been trying to get through that game because I played the other two, and I bought Shadow like 9 months ago when it was on sale. And so I randomly picked it up and started playing it about 2 weeks ago before I bought Jedi Fallen Order, and I got a Alec code for being a founder. Yay for founders. And I got Watch Dogs Legion, and Ubisoft Plus came out because I want to play Immortals. So literally I'm like in this, and I'm one of those people that if I start reading a book, I'm going to finish the book. If I start watching a movie, I'm going to finish the movie. If I start watching a TV show, I'm going to finish the TV show, even if it's not great, which Shadow was. But that meant I couldn't stop playing Shadow and move on to any of these other games that I got on sale. So I loved it. It's a gorgeous game, fantastic plot, great story, great music, atmospheric as all get out. Good to see Lara Croft finally get some form of resolution in her life. Spoiler alert, it's the last in a trilogy, so you'd think something nice would happen.
Who she die?
You know, it was the cancer was really awful. I'm just kidding. That's just press Y to kick off dialysis. No, horrible. It's horrible. I'll edit this out. I'll edit it all out. So that was fun, and I played a little bit of Outcasters this week just to get my dailies and stuff going with that. So that's what I played. Dan, what's been on your playlist this week, Stadia or otherwise?
Outcasters is just one of those games you can jump in, have a few games. I played with Chase from I was going to say Stadia
Gaming
Talk,
Advocate.
the Gaming Advocate now. Or the Gaming Avocado, as autocorrect likes to change it to. So yeah, it's just such an easy game to jump in, play a few games. You know what I mean? You can kind of play a few games on the go as well, and then just stop when you're done. Other than that, I've been playing Cyberpunk. I mean, who really hasn't, to be fair? Although I haven't actually played as much of it as I would have liked to have played. My father actually got me to buy the Beyond Light DLC for Destiny. I wasn't really interested in it until he practically begged me. And I'm actually really enjoying being back in the game again. And so I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm cheating on Cyberpunk a little bit. But I know that. So I will get back into Cyberpunk and I will finish it. But then there's games that's like I started playing Jedi Fallen Order and I've not played that. And I think I'm the opposite to Avery. If I mean, I can start a game and then I'm not very good at getting back into it. Especially there's just too many games on Stadia at the moment, and I haven't got time to play them all. So, which is not a bad problem to have, I guess.
It is a good problem to have. I didn't even mention like Community Playground on Sunday playing crowd play. I'll talk about that a little later too. But yeah, Outcasters has been a blast. I think Outcasters has taken a leap thanks to that. So we'll talk about that in just a little bit. Dom, what's been on your playlist, Stadia or otherwise?
Not that much this week because I've been at work, and when I'm at work, I don't really get that much time. But I did pick up Cyberpunk, and I've played about 4 hours worth. I haven't even got to the title screen yet. So, and I'm enjoying it, and I want to play. And I'm on holiday now to the 28th, so I've got some time to sit down and actually play some games. A few odd games of Dead by Daylight here and there. Playing the new killer that came out a few weeks ago called The Twins, which are this weird sort of I don't know how to describe it. It's like they were twins at birth, but then one of them died as a fetus, sort of thing, and like it comes out. It's really weird and it's disgusting. And when I stream it, I'll show it. It's great. But they're a lot of fun, and I've also been playing League of Legends because I can't shake that bug at the moment, and it's really bad for my mental health.
And that's why he has to relax and blow off steam by chasing people to death on Dead by Daylight.
Recently, I have to say, like Dead by Daylight has been really stressful because as a killer, especially, when I'm playing stream recently, I've been playing Survivor, which is a lot more chilled because you can kind of take it easy. But as killer, the pressure is on you the whole time, and if you make a mistake, you can get punished so easily, and it's just like, oh god. But it's fun at the same time because you can just murder 4 people. So, yeah.
As we always do here on the Stadia Source Roundtable, we talk about murdering people at random. Anthony, what's been on your playlist, Stadia or otherwise?
Speaking of murdering people, last night I had a little Mortal Kombat 11 hangout, I called it, and man, it was awesome to see people's heads getting ripped off and all that stuff. But yeah, I played some Mortal Kombat. I've been playing a lot of competitive stuff lately. I've been playing people in Pac-Man. I've been playing people in Mortal Kombat. Obviously, Power Rangers. It's been really cool. But I've been playing a lot of Avengers ever since Kate came out. Kate Bishop. I've been playing that like crazy. But yeah, pretty much all the competitive stuff where you have to go against other people. I've been playing like crazy recently. It's been pretty cool.
Very fun. Rokk, how about you? What's on your playlist?
I was just thinking what Don was saying there. It must have been quite stressful for Fred West as well. I mean, it can't be an easy thing being a killer, can it? Let's be frank here. Having to plan your next attack and hope you're not going to get caught and stuff, and where you get your bags of cement from and everything else. It's got to be tough life, man, being a killer. So I've been juggling between Cyberpunk and Phoenix. And it's interesting what you were saying, actually, Dan, because I'm finding the same thing. When you've been playing a bit of Cyberpunk for a while, and then you go over to Phoenix, and there's a whole different, bunch of mechanics and controls and stuff. And I'm thinking, oh my God, how do I fly again? How do I speed this thing up? But two great games, loving Phoenix. Cyberpunk, I'm about 15 hours in, and I'm still waiting for it to become that game that I want to get back to. At the moment, I'm still not. I'm still just kind of going through the motions with it, waiting for that to kick in. But I've loved Phoenix since the first hour. It's a great game.
That's cool.
Very, very fun. And somebody, I apparently I'm having some audio issues today, so we're going to jump into the first news topic, and we'll let you guys discuss that and get on from there. Crowdplay has finally entered the chat, and now a lot of folks that applied and subscribed have been able to get in and do Crowdplay. Has anybody on the panel, other than me, gotten into the Crowdplay beta and given it a try just yet?
Yeah, the other day, Dom and I actually played. I played almost every game besides Borderlands and Dead by Daylight, but I tried Samurai Showdown. I tried what else I did? I just got a blank. But yeah, thank you, man. I tried Samurai Showdown, Mortal Kombat. I did Bomberman, and what was the other game? Because there's 6 of them, right? I know I played 4 that day, but yeah, it worked pretty smooth for me. What'd you say?
Outcasters.
Thank you, Outcasters. Now, what I will say is Outcasters by far is the best integration, obviously because it was made for it. The other games, it's always like a little something. Like when you play Samurai Showdown, you don't even know if it's working. It just like when the other person comes in, then it creates the game randomly out of nowhere. Mortal Kombat, you kind of have no clue when the other person's gonna come in. There's no it doesn't say queue or anything. They just randomly pop up, and when you're having a match, you don't even know they're in until you match, and you're like, oh, Bomberman again, Avery. I'm sure you're gonna talk about it when we played it on your show. Bomberman was cool, but it has a couple quirky things to it. I'll let you talk about that. But yeah, Outcasters is by far amazing. So I can't wait to see when everything is integrated like Outcasters. Like it shows the queue, when people are coming in. Like everything's pretty smooth. So yeah, I gave it the world.
Some of the integrations of it are interesting. Like the Bomberman where it just kicks everybody out right after the game. I'm like. If you didn't have 64 people and you don't have 100 some odd in queue, just leave everybody. Pick everybody out.
That's what I said in my, because we got surveys, I think today, to kind of give our opinion and feedback on Crowdplay, and that's one of the things I said. If you're not one of these YouTubers that's got thousands of subscribers and all of a sudden it's just kicked everyone out that you have got, you might want to keep playing with them at least until more people potentially join. So.
I think there should be like a setting for it though, or something where you can say keep this round or whatever, or allow to play 1 to 3 rounds and then kick everyone out or something like that. Because I remember I was watching one of the big YouTubers doing Outcasters, and it just kept putting the same 7 people with him in for 3 rounds, and then it kicks people out. So I don't know whether in Outcasters there's a setting for it. I've not hosted Crowdplay yet. I've only done it as a viewer. For me, it seems to work fine. The only one, as Anthony said, when I joined Samurai Showdown, it was just weird. It joined me, and then I was just in the menu, and then all of a sudden it randomly started the game. There was no queue, so it was just weird. And the quality.
Yeah, I was going to jump into that. I think because I played it before and it played smooth. I think Crowdplay on that made you could explain to him about it.
As I joined Anthony, and the menus and everything was really smooth, 60 FPS, and then I joined the game and it was like I was playing behind 3 VPNs. It was really bad.
I don't
really
think that's Crowdplay though, because I've played Samurai Showdown when it first came out with
but they're not,
and it was the same.
But I can play like solo, and it's absolutely fine.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
you're
me
playing
too.
by yourself, but if you're playing over with
But
somebody
Anthony
else,
didn't have any like FPS or anything drops. His was smooth as well because I was watching him on the stream. It seemed fine. It was really bizarre. It was only my side that.
Yeah, it's running on a PS4 in Sacramento, California. That's the problem. So you're connecting to that and then connecting back to you.
No, I tried it on Borderlands 3. I didn't even know it was crowd play was on Borderlands.
Yeah,
3.
that was random
I
to
was
see
like-
in the little crowd play guide.
Yeah.
It was like, what is? They have nobody mentioned that. Like nobody
Right.
said that had crowd play.
But I think Jem did a stream. So he'd obviously seen the documentation as well, or knew about it beforehand. I was like, I put a thing out saying, did anybody else know about this? Because maybe I just overlooked it. But I jumped in with Justin, one of our streamers, kind of in a private stream, just to test it and see what kind of like what it was all about for that game. I don't quite know how that would work on a larger scale if you've got quite a few subscribers. Like I don't know whether it just lets you do one mission and then it cycles people out, or whether you have to say, right, you've played for half an hour with me, I'm kicking you out. Because it's not one of those games that has rounds. You just have missions which you can kind of do in any order, and you know what I mean, you don't just do one thing and then move on to the next. You can do multiple things at different times. So I don't quite know how that would work. Maybe it's something we'll have to see. Probably better for smaller streamers, but
In terms of Bomberman, does it give you like how many are in queue or something as the for like whoever's
Well,
hosting?
you can always see that when you're playing a crowd play match and you hit your Stadia button. There's a live stream panel that will tell you how many people are in queue. It'll actually tell you who's in queue. You can kick people out of that if you're like, no, I'm not playing with Eddie. Player one.
The actual game doesn't have any UI that says it. Because it's only at the moment, I think it's only Outcasters that has that, right?
Yep.
Outcasters will tell you how many from the queue have joined your session, but I don't think, unless I missed it, I don't think it says like 7 of 8 with you and then 60 more people in queue.
I thought it said in queue as well. Maybe I'm confused, but like
I
to me,
by in queue it means in the people in queue who have joined your game.
Yeah, that's what it means. Yeah.
Because basically, like in Mortal Kombat and Dead by Daylight, whatever, crowd plays, you're basically just automating an invite to your game, right? That's all it's doing. It's nothing special. It's just sending out an invite. Because if you have Dead by Daylight open when you're in the crowd play queue and you get picked, it just sends you an invite.
Yeah.
That's it. That's why I'm surprised it's not in more games, right? Because it's just basically an invite, isn't it? It's not. It's
pretty much just setting up, doing the party thing, and putting your link. That's it, pretty much.
Yeah.
But it's holding people in queue.
But it's still up to each individual developer to hook into that API, right. and as we know from previous conversations with developers, not everybody's even been given the opportunity. Some because if you think about it, Borderlands, that's a very big high profile game from 2K. Mortal Kombat, that's a Warner Brothers game. Outcasters is homegrown. Super Bomberman is a Stadia exclusive. Samurai Showdown. Who makes Samurai Showdown? Anybody of note? SNK.
One guy in a garage
in Sacramento, California. But we know that currently smaller companies have not been let in through that gate. There are games out there on the platform that, like Cake Bash, would be a perfect game for crowd play. Right. Any of those kind of multiplayer party type things, even like an Uno, would make a lot of sense.
Any multiplayer game.
Pac-Man.
Yeah,
Pac-Man has 64-player battle royale mode. Like, how is it not on Pac-Man?
That one's surprising to me. Yeah, that one's surprising to me, and it is on your free play days this weekend. So, but we'll get there, I'm sure. Speaking of new and amazing and exciting things opening up into the world of the Stadia, iOS support is live just out of nowhere. So kind of an interesting thing that we learned today. There was an interview that The Escapist did with John Justice that it just went up a couple of hours ago, and there's not really any news in it. He didn't say anything amazing and revelatory that would shock the foundations of the universe, but he did mention that they've kind of changed their strategy a little bit in terms of feature releases. He said they released over 100 features this year, which seems excessive because they've only barely released 100 games this year. But in doing so, he said that their tactic that they've taken is basically they want to just delight people with new things on the platform. So they are not going to be announcing new features. The feature is going to drop, and then they will make a big deal out of it. So like iOS support, YouTube streaming, the crowd play beta, these are just things that happened to Stadia in the past few days. And then after everybody kind of noticed it, or they sent a little tweet, then it was in the blog post and they made a big deal out of it.
And you know why that is, right? Because look what happened when they announced the good stuff. I feel like
they learned their lesson, I think.
No, yeah, because I think everything after good stuff has just been simply, just shadow drops pretty much.
Yeah. And so this week, iOS support finally landing. Sorry, I'm just seeing in the chat, Eli Levy, human fall flat crowd play. Yes, obviously, Eli, that would be a game, but who needs it? I mean, you can just take them through the whole game and then nobody has to deal with that. I still appreciate that from the stream. But yeah, iOS support finally here. So you can play your El Hijo. On that. Sorry. Blue Bobs is asking you to pronounce that game, Anthony. I think he's being mean. I don't know.
No.
Was that in Spanish? Yes, that was the Spanish.
Yes, that didn't sound like it to me, Anthony.
El Hino. So yeah, iOS support finally here. So I switched over to the Apple side of the Force, and now I'll be able to play it on this device. I am a big fan of the iPad. Like a real big fan of the iPad. I have the Chromebook Duet tablet, which is phenomenal. For a $200, $300 tablet, it's amazing. But I'm probably going to sell it and go to an iPad at some point in the next few months. I'm probably going to do that. That's my future. I know who I am. Because I like the Apple Pencil. It's a good pencil. So, iOS. Anybody else rocking an iPhone on the panel right now?
I've got a works iPhone.
So have you tried
earlier today? Yes, I tried it. They probably clocked my activity, and I'm getting a disciplinary next Monday. But
Dan taking the big risks for Stadia Source.
Yeah, but I played a little bit of Outcasters. I mean, I use touchscreen, so I wasn't brilliant at it, but it ran smoothly, and I did as well as I'd expect to do on touchscreen controls. So I'm extremely happy for this. I mean, I'll let other people share their experiences before I think about whether their new approach is good or not. But we'll
talk more about that approach concept when we get to the hot topic tonight, because Stadia's big week is our hot topic for the night. But Rokk, you're rocking the iPhone? Have you?
Yeah, I gave it a little go earlier. I just using the touch, not pairing a controller. Bit of Cyberpunk in bed this morning, as you do. Say no more. And it was good. It felt good. It felt responsive. It was smooth. A little fast. I think I need to adjust the settings. Because I think I probably played with mouse last, so it was, but no, very impressed. It's a web app. Just obviously just go into Safari, save to your home screen, so you can have the little icon on your in all your apps. Tap that puppy and off you go. Very good. It's great to see it there.
Awesome.
And it does, if you use Chrome on iOS, it does work in Chrome on iOS.
Oh, does it? Didn't work for me.
Okay. I found when it was rolling out that I couldn't do it either way. Mm-hmm. Then I could do it in Safari but not Chrome, and now I can do it in Chrome. You might have to go
maybe
to that very
it or something.
I'm checking as we speak.
There's that little URL slug, the question mark equal. Blah, blah, blah. You might have to put that one in. But
I mean, at the end of the day, you're playing it, whatever the browser, as long as it's working, it don't matter.
Dan's gonna prove me a dipstick right now, live on the podcast.
I've got to install Chrome. Jesus.
You have to install. You don't have Chrome on your. Come on, man.
With it being a work phone, I only use it for emails and phone calls.
That's a second disciplinary.
You run a website dedicated to a Google technology. You have to be using Chrome. Actually, I think you use Firefox, don't you?
Yeah.
What's your daily driver?
Yeah.
I
use
changed
Edge.
my user.
Good. Opera's good.
Yeah, I use Edge to play Stadia on my desktop so that I don't have any interference of any nature.
Hey,
but yeah, I mean,
if you use Edge, but then you can't, can you also use OBS? Like you can't.
Yeah. Because I just do browser. I don't do browser capture. I do screen capture.
Display
on
capture.
OBS.
Yeah.
Display capture.
You
So I
can
just
you can
capture
use
the whole
you
thing.
can use OBS with Edge and tabs anyway. I do.
You can use it
Well,
with Internet Explorer. but then
Edge
you
is
can play
basically
Stadia.
built upon Chrome now.
It's
Yeah,
Chromium,
it is.
isn't it?
Chrome in a
Yeah, yeah.
different
Oh, maybe I should go back because when I first got my computer, it had the S mode, and it was like you have to, if you disable it, you got to disable it to get Chrome, and then but the S mode is better because it don't got all the blah blah blah. So
Some
Yeah,
people
it
even
should
say
be
Edge
good.
works better.
The only
Yeah,
thing about
cool.
Edge is you can't have Stadia enhanced, though, right?
Yeah, I don't care
Yes.
about.
There's a way that you can run Chrome extensions and it works fine.
I'm fine
Because
for
I like
Yeah.
forcing 4K.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it
Yeah, you
makes it
kind of want
right.
that. You do want
I think Edge. I think Microsoft kind of realized when they, you know what I mean, that Chrome and Firefox have got all these extensions and applications, and people are going to be reluctant to then build the same ones again for Edge now that it's actually a viable solution. So rather than try and compete with them, they just said we're going to make it so that we can run Firefox and Chrome extensions in Edge as well. So
I don't want to buy my extensions again.
that.
You think? Nobody? Okay, it's fine. Rock got it. Rock's we're
I got it.
Mate, whatever you say, I know it's a joke, so I just chuckle. I can't.
So speaking of the war in so yeah, I mean, I think this is huge. I think this is more important. So at least in the United States, iOS versus Android is a 50-50 split. Globally, it's 75-25 in favor of Android. Android is much more prevalent overseas, where iPhone is almost considered more of a luxury because all the phones are more expensive. Even their entry-level phone is still $400 or $500, whereas your entry-level Android is $39 from Track Phone or whatever.
Right.
But you still end up in America as a 50-50 split. So we've had 50% of the people that could play on mobile couldn't because you didn't have iPhone. But then like tablet wise, there's no competition. Like it's iPad all the way down, and then a little sliver of the Fire stuff and a little sliver of the Samsung stuff, and then a little bit else from there. But iPad is so prevalent. So to be able to finally play on that tablet, which is a tablet is the perfect form factor for this. Like ever since I got the Chromebook Duet, it has a little kickstand. So I'm sitting on the couch. We've got The Office or The Golden Girls or something playing on the TV, or my wife's watching one of her 17,000 people she's subscribed to on YouTube because she watches the makeup stuff. It's whatever. And
one of my shows as well, then hopefully.
Yeah, there you go. Do you do a makeup show on your channel?
Look at this face.
Rock, I'm wearing the Fenty Beauty eyeliner, and it's
yes.
Hey, one of my most
Absolutely.
recent videos, my wife cut my daughter's hair, and she had long hair, and she cut it really short. So if that accounts, guys, I guess
Yeah, that counts.
There you go.
Was she happy with it though? Did she want it to be cut short?
She loves it. And I had some people comment and say you should do more haircut videos. So maybe every time my wife,
you found
Avery, since you're the closest person to us, we'll drive to Maryland and my wife will cut your hair and we'll make a video out of it.
We'll put that.
Then smash your TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
put that on the Stadia Source. As long as I'm playing Stadia while it happens, we can put it on the Stadia Source channel, and then it's tangentially related. But anywho, so all of that said, then I'm just, is it working for you? Good, perfect. So then I'm sitting on the whatever. I don't care.
That weird icon that Adam was looking for.
Okay, well I'm done with it now.
Yeah, I've got that as well on mine though, on Safari. You see,
I can play mine on Safari, but not on Chrome.
It then says it needs a browser update, which is
that's what mine says.
Yeah.
Oh, are you on 1.4.3? If you're not on 1.4.3, at 14.3 then
no, but I can play it on Safari, but just not on Chrome.
Justin Huberti tweeted about it earlier.
Yeah.
If anyone has any issues, by the way, he's the person to go to on Twitter because he's been tweeting about it nonstop for the past day, and he's been really helpful. And he basically said if you have an iPhone 6 and below, like if you haven't upgraded, just use Stadium.
Okay.
Which is awesome that he's also kind of like they even said, he tweeted that basically the developer behind Stadium helped them with some of the data mining that he had, which to me is awesome because you cannot imagine if somebody did a workaround for Game Pass Ultimate, Microsoft would have been like, no, shut her down. Like, or maybe they wouldn't have. I don't know. It's crazy. But he was, yes, thank you for that. Speaking of thank yous, Mr. Urban World wants us to know that he beat Anthony in Pac-Man, so that maybe the Pac Genius is not been dethroned at this point.
He finally got one lucky win. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but guys, first of all, I'm a competitive player. Most of you guys who play with me, I have beaten you. Sorry to say this, but Dan knows it. Now, Stadia Universe challenged me in Mortal Kombat. We played last night, and I lost like maybe 3 times in a bunch of hours. So this one little win he got. Okay, and I know you donated another $5 to talk trash, but just know I'm the fighting cowboy, and I'm representing the Stadia Source Force every time I whoop people. Right
there you go. He said, "I'll donate again, but I feel so bad about being such a good gamer." So
I'd just like to say, for $5, he can beat me whenever he wants. I don't mind.
Listen, can I say one last thing? All right.
Anyway,
one last thing, guys. And Avery, this is for you too, okay? Because I'm gonna play Pac-Man. I am hosting a Pac-Man tournament this Saturday at 2 p.m. on my channel. I dare anybody to show up, and all you gotta do, the person who wins 5 matches is the winner. You'll be the Pac-Man Mega Tunnel Battle All-Purpose Champion, and I'll make a personal video congratulating you. But I won't have to because I'm not gonna lose. That's for Bill, who said he was gonna beat me in Pac-Man, and also Brian for the Nerf Report. I just challenge everybody, and you, Avery.
I'm going to be in a car on the way to Little Rock, Arkansas. Nothing I can do for you.
Now the game is free, so that means everybody with a pro account can join. Just saying.
Nothing I can do for you. Nothing I can do for you. I'm going to be in a car driving. Can't play on 5G. Yeah, I'm not in town. By the way, no community. If anybody else wants to, if you want to come over to our channel and host the community playground on Sunday, you're welcome to. Because
I might be on my way to see Little Rock as well.
I forgot you said it was this weekend. I forgot it was this weekend. Okay.
Other news, you guys. There's still more news. Oh, F10 says he'll be there. So either F10 is going to be on your thing, or he's going to take my stream. If you want to be the community playground. So. Other news, because that is not all that happened this week. Ubisoft Plus, you guys, finally dropped out of nowhere again with the same thing. Dan's like, everybody's like, no.
Oh, I forgot where you guys live at. I'm like, why are you saying no?
Oh, that's right. So for those of us in the civilized world, we all got Ubisoft Plus this week. For those of us that don't live on an island that we rejected 300 years ago.
Maybe the 21st of January.
The sun did set on you in terms of Ubisoft Plus access and Luna and other things. There's a joke there. The sun setting on the British Empire and then Luna. There's a joke there. I'm just going to leave that though. So. Yeah, Ubisoft Plus. For those of us here in Freedom Land, we got Ubisoft Plus this week with a drop of 3 more games. So 3 more of the Assassin's Creed set. We knew these were coming because they announced them right before Good Stuff. But we got Syndicate, Origins, and Unity all dropped this week. And so if you want to go join the revolution, the French Revolution, that is, or if you want to head to... the other 2, I had them in my brain. The other 2 settings, I don't remember anymore. Somebody who knows more about Assassin's Creed than me, tell me where those other 2 are.
Where's Lee?
Where's Lee?
We're not in Freedom Land, mate. We can't help you.
Lee's too busy charging his attacks.
Yes, Lee's working on it. It's just slowly but steadily. So Jade Raymond finally getting to see her hard work come to us. Finally, cool. After all. So yeah, I mean. Exciting to see the series expand. Exciting to see Ubisoft Plus. Right now, if you get Ubisoft Plus and you are in a qualifying country, then of course you get all of the PC games that they released through the subscription. But then you also get 18 games on Stadia, the Tom Clancy stuff, the Assassin's Creed stuff. A lot of games out there. Yes, Mr. Schmidt.
Just a quick, if you're a Stadia only user, the value of Ubisoft Plus is pretty poor compared to if you're a PC gamer.
So
Whoa,
Because
whoa,
you're
whoa.
paying. Sorry, but you're getting 18 games compared
Yeah,
to
but you're
the
getting-
100 or whatever.
No, he has a
120.
good point, but you also have to realize that it's been out way longer in PC. And then two, just look at the value, right? So yes, if you compare the value, right? If I pay the same amount and I could get, 100 versus 18, true. But the value alone is amazing. Like, just think, Immortal
No.
Phoenix Rising.
I don't think the value's bad. I
Right.
just think it's way better for PC.
mathematically, you're correct.
Yes.
But I think in just culturally speaking, if you are a person who wanted to play Valhalla, let's say all you cared about were like the RPG games. So
Yep.
you're playing the Valhalla, you're playing Odyssey, you're playing IFR, you're playing maybe a couple of those other Assassin's Creed games. You're talking about 200 hours of content for $15 a month. Even if you only subscribe for 4 months and play straight through all those games, you still spent less money than if you bought one of those games.
So let me look at it a different way, right? This is the way I looked at it. So I told myself I would never do this, right? I would never pay money for one specific company because I want everything, right? But I paid for it because of this. I can't think of another company, and I challenge you guys, if you can, who had in the last year 5 big titles. So we got Immortal Phoenix Rising, The Division 2, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I know I've been butchering that, Avery.
Assassin's Creed Van Halen. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool, you're making me forget. We got Watchdog Legions and we got Breakpoint. So those 5 big titles in 1 year. So what other company has came out with 5 big titles in a year? You know what I'm saying? So I think that's pretty significant when you think about it. And I'm not a Ubisoft fan by far, but I'm a third person fan and I'm a multiplayer fan, and they do really well at both things combined. So
and thank you, Eli. It was France, London, and Egypt for the other ones. Egypt was the one that really wasn't landing for him.
Basically, I'm salty because it's not in the UK and there's no Rainbow Six Siege. So
this is just bitterness. That's all this is. It's just bitterness.
Listen, I watched Rokk show last night, and man, they was talking about boycotting. They had pitchforks and everything last night. I was like, man, Ray is getting crazy.
I set fire to Ray's house. I was that upset.
Yeah, man. I was like,
I can see where Rokk was coming from. I mean, to be fair, I had no interest in getting Ubisoft Plus anyway. Mm-hmm. But it does get a little bit annoying after a while that, like, this is no offense against like American people, but like the rest of the world does exist too. Like, you could do a beta somewhere else on occasion just to throw us a bone every now and then, perhaps.
Sorry, Dan. Nope.
No, I agree with you though, Dan. I agree with you. And Rokk, when I watch your show, I agree with everything you guys are saying. However, I'm not gonna not get it. You know, Ray was like, absolutely. I think 100%. Nobody should get it because until we all could get it.
No, I agree. I wasn't advocating boycotting it if you can get it. I was basically saying there's no point in spending $15 a month until it's available on Stadia, because I'd already subscribed back in October thinking it was coming. And I said, no, I'm canceling it. There's no point.
Yeah.
You know, as much as I've been playing it on GeForce, I'm quite happy to park it and I will come back to it. And my big point was that, you know, anywhere else in the Stadia universe, there's no such thing as beta, all US only. But interestingly enough, there is in the Ubisoft universe and the Luna universe. That's where I was coming from. In my book, this has more to do. It's nothing. I don't think this has anything to do with Stadia. I don't think this was a Stadia decision. I think this was an Amazon decision. And I think that's a shame. I really do. But what it is, I think, is for the last year, we've been on our own little oasis. We've almost been, you know, shielded from the shenanigans of the rest of the gaming world, you know, and Google have looked after us. And all of a sudden, they've had to open the doors up to these kind of little back-end deals, these little sort of, you know, contracts going down where a few dollars are thrown at people and they get it. And that's new. And that's what I kind of think sticks in my throat a tad. But I love it. Look, I love Ubisoft. I love their stuff. And don't forget, they are a French company. They just happen to have offices in Canada. It's not that they're an American outfit. This isn't, we can't say which is the usual argument. Well, come on, guys, what do you expect? They're in America. They're an American business. It's not the case with Ubisoft. So that's my gripe.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it has more to do with maybe. I mean, obviously, it's going to be an Ubisoft thing. Like Stadia is not going to tell them, please don't sell this thing that we're going to get $1 out of. But I'm wondering if it maybe there's a licensing issue or offering a subscription-based software service in the US might be just an easy thing to do, but other countries might have rules or regulations around subscription-based software that.
If that were the case, Avery, then. If that were the case, then I wouldn't have been able to play it on GeForce Now since I did in October, which I have been. I mean, ever since Watch Dogs Legion came out, I subscribed and I played it on GeForce, and it's been working an absolute treat.
Yep. That's what confused me. Why, if it works on GeForce, then that's what.
And technically, I can't look. I've looked at this from every angle, and I don't care that they say it's because it's beta. We've got to. I don't get that at all. I think it's just really obvious. Amazon Luna is in beta. It is US only. Right. They launched. They make a big splash that Ubisoft was coming as a partner. There's a deal. A deal had been done, and I think it had been done post the deal with Stadia because they love the whole tech. They were there day one with Odyssey, and I think they've always been on board with the tech. They got approached by Amazon. They dropped them a suitcase of Green Eddies, if you're into Cyberpunk, and the deal was done. And the deal was simple. We're not asking you not to do it with Stadia, but we don't want you to go. We want you to restrict it until we're ready to go global, and then we'll make a big thing of it. Then I think all of this smells like that, and not because we've got to. What's there to test? The games have been on Stadia for months. It's like
what about
Connect has been there since October.
What about one more possibility, and that is rate limiting? So if Ubisoft Plus already had 500,000 to 1 million subscribers, it's probably large numbers. I don't think we know the numbers. They already had that many subscribers in the US, and suddenly all of them are getting an email saying, by the way, did you know if you want to go play Immortals Phoenix Rising right now on your phone, you can click here. And that, because GeForce Now has a lower install base, if you take subreddit numbers as a comparison, then maybe that's the thing is we already saw with Cyberpunk at a certain point, some people in some regions were getting the you got to wait a second mode. And suddenly if you throw in a ton more people who want to play all the Ubisoft games, you're ending up with hardware issues.
But I don't think oh my God, Ubisoft Plus is on Stadia. Quick, I must use the service now. I don't think people that...
Not like Cyberpunk.
No, yeah. I don't think it has that draw.
Why would you launch it in one of the biggest countries?
Yeah. You'd go to Chechnya, wouldn't you? One of the new ones.
Exactly.
We have the most capacity, I would imagine. We have the most capacity.
I mean, Avery, you're in software. Dan, you're in web and tech. I'm in apps and tech. I know how you do this stuff. That can all be dealt with load bearing testing and a whole bunch of stuff months in advance. I know through a little birdie that they've been testing the heck out of this for quite some time. And as I've said, it's been available on GeForce and of course PC across the world. So no, I don't think it's that. I hear what you're saying, but I think that the technology with Stadia and also Ubisoft has already proven that it can stand any kind of stress test. I just think this is a deal that's been done, and it makes more sense for them. We'll just sit back because Luna's paid us a load of money. We've got a commitment to bring it out on Stadia. We've already said we will, but we're not going to go out beyond the US. So we're sticking within the confines of what we've got. So if you're a consumer, you've got two choices if you're in the US, and they're both identical. So you're not essentially taking the market away from Amazon. You're saying it's 50-50. Which do you want? Whereas if they went across the world, it takes a lot of Luna's smoke away, doesn't it? When they want to go live, which I think is going to be around the spring, if my spidey sense is right, they're going to go, hey, guess what? We're now in Europe, and you can also subscribe to Ubisoft Plus. And Europe goes, yeah, we did that back in December, mate, but thanks. And oh, by the way, it's still only 1080p. Yeah, you're all right, thank you. That's not how they want it to go down, is it?
So the kicker will be: do we see when Ubisoft Plus expands to other areas? If we see both Luna on the whole and the Ubisoft Plus implementation of Stadia
I was about to
launch
say
out to
that.
other places at the exact same time, then that's a sign that those are potentially related.
I think so.
We won't.
I'll have calmed down by then, so they won't care. Right now they wouldn't do.
I didn't like the fact it said next year.
It's going to be the spring, Dom. I'm absolutely convinced of it.
It's
That's
just
why I
frustrating.
said.
Even like early next year or Q1 next year, any first half of next year would have been better than.
It's going to be when
Shadow
Luna goes
drop it.
live.
Shadow
That's
drop.
why I said cancel it. Well, unless you want to play on GeForce, which is, to be fair, a really good experience with, even though it's 1080p. But I want to play it on Stadia. That's my platform of choice. And, it's what I was expecting to happen this year. I would only say, and just my final piece, and I said this again last night, as much as I don't think Stadia has a hand in this, I do think what it's done badly as it has done in the past is it plays catch up on the comms, and I'd just like to see them get ahead of something like this, because it's obviously going to be an issue. Just get ahead of it, guys. Control the media, control the noise. Don't let Ubisoft take that, and then you're left with the dump to deal with after. But
or if you're Stadia, you just don't deal with it at all. Like Stadia is widely known for just not responding.
I think that's Google in general, right?
Yeah, and I don't know that that's a bad approach. I think it's an unsatisfying approach to be the person who is not responded to. But I think in Stadia's world, nobody's still mad about anything they were mad about for Stadia 6 months ago, because we've all just moved.
Apart from Ying Yong, whatever his name is, Ping Pong.
unless you're Young A, yeah. But other than that, other news. We do have some other news to cover really, really quickly before we get into the hot topic tonight. We have also gotten a bunch of new games announced, and of course, I write new games instead of new games. A couple that just got announced today, Reigns, Enter the Gungeon, and Lara Croft and the Guardian of Light. And then we also had a rating for Epistory Typing Chronicles, Avicii Invector, and then at the Game Awards, we had Tichia, and Disco Elysium Final Cut. So of these games, has anybody tried these on another platform? I personally played Reigns. I think I played it on my mobile phone. I played it on possibly on Switch, and then I played Enter the Gungeon on Switch. Enter the Gungeon is another one of those Celeste games for Stadia, and what I mean by that is it's a game where you have to get it right. It's a bullet hell shooter, so you can't not have good latency, good response, good lag time. It all has to be good, or that game you're never going to be able to play it. So if the developers at the studio behind that didn't have confidence, they wouldn't let their game. I don't think any studio would let their game be tarnished by a debut on a platform that couldn't handle it. Right. And I played it, I think it's super, super fun. Has anybody else played any of the ones that have been announced as coming?
No, none of those.
I guess Guardian of Light would be similar to the current. I can't remember.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
It was the first.
Any of them now?
Yeah,
and I know Epistory is it's not technically a sequel to Nanotales Chronicles or whatever it's Typing Chronicles, that we're one of the Stadia Makers games that's coming soon. It's by the same people and the same universe, if you like, but it's slightly different in the way that it plays.
It's the Epistory. It's the Typing Chronicles cinematic universe, adding another entry. I did enjoy Temple of Osiris. I played probably a good 2-3 hours of that. It's not one that hooked me enough to give it a place on my playlist when other things were there, but it was good. Disco Elysium went at the Game Awards. The big announcements for us anyways were Tichia, which looks really fun. It looks a little windboundy. And then Disco Elysium and the Elder Scrolls, which we'll talk about in a second. Disco Elysium was took a ton of awards home at last year's Game Awards. It's a very old school looking role playing game detective thing. It's a very unique game to kind of take a look at. And of course, we're getting kind of a director's cut DLC included version of it coming this fall. But it's yet another one of those top games of the year that is coming to the platform.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I'll take any new game. Announce a new game, I'll take it.
Wasn't No Lemon something to do with Enter the Gunge Tank, or was that a completely different game?
I don't think that's
Little one for the English folk
No,
there.
that-
Clive gets it, don't you, Clive?
I'll look that up while I'm playing Ubisoft Plus. So also we had a bunch of games with updates this week. As our good cowboy mentioned earlier, Avengers got a new Avenger. The first new Avenger launched this week, Kate Bishop, aka Hawkeye. Do they refer to her as Hawkeye in the update?
No, they don't. No, I was actually playing it earlier, and they meant the story was talking to her and reference Hawkeye. So he's still in the universe. You're gonna actually eventually try to. They're trying to get her to bring him into the story. So she's not Hawkeye, but she's his protege.
So yeah, that one. PUBG got a new season. Breakthrough Division 2 continuing on the season pass with End of Watch, and then also announced at the Game Awards the Elder Scrolls Gates of Oblivion. Like I don't know about y'all, but I probably played 100 hours of Oblivion. The Elder Scrolls 4, I believe it was, or yeah, it was 4. And I played that game over and over and over again. It is a game I kept going back to. It's one of my favorites in the series. So to see them, as soon as the trailer started, they didn't really get to the Oblivion part super fast, but you saw the symbol appear on that book she was holding. I was like, oh, nope, that's the Oblivion symbol right there. They're going to Oblivion. That's an Oblivion gate. It's Oblivion time. I was very excited to see that. Anybody else?
Do we know that's coming to Stadia though?
Yes, it's we will always get all updates from them.
So this is an update to right. So it's not a new.
Elder Scrolls.
I'm not very
DLC.
DLC.
Yeah. Like the Morrowind and the Summer.
I was just thinking, obviously, with the Bethesda deal, it was my mind was that this was a new game. So,
right.
Yeah, no, ZeniMax has come out and said that basically Elder Scrolls is going to continue to be fully cross-platform, and there will never be any issues on that.
I think it's only new IPs and stuff that might be exclusive. Yeah. They basically said they're going to continue other games.
I'd be amazed if, I mean, I wouldn't put it past them to make Elder Scrolls 6 platform exclusive, but I also think that the riots would
I can see it being timed.
Well, I don't know if the riots could beat out $7 billion though.
That's true. At a certain point, you just say, "So sorry, let me go cash that next check."
Sorry about that, but I don't know how much you're paying. But
we'll even suffer Rokk.
Sorry, I have to pull this comment up from Eli. You said at the beginning of the show that when you play a game, you finish it. Yet you have not finished Farming Simulator 19. Never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. The soybeans are just gonna stay in the field.
Hey, one also thing too. So we didn't miss it. Eli Levy actually did a super chat, and he had a pretty good comment. He said, "Ray tracing."
I've got that earmarked for the hot topic.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure we didn't miss him. Yeah.
No, absolutely. I saw that and I appreciate that, and I got that.
Cool. Yes, sir.
So yeah, I mean, no matter what, Regger with a great, we need more JRPGs. No matter what type of game it is, there is no game that you can tell me is going to come to Stadia that I wouldn't be like, great, because somebody's going to want to play it.
Yes.
A couple of other headlines that we don't have time to get into, but I'll mention them real quick. Football Manager 2020 went poof. First game ever removed from Stadia, but apparently it's being removed from everywhere because of some licensing issues. So it's not that they hate Stadia; it's that something happened with the licensing of 2020, and now they moved on to 21, which has still not been announced for Stadia.
There was some stuff I think Clive and I covered off on Gen X in the week. That was there was a bunch of very hard done by Premiership footballers who are kicking off about the fact that their faces are used in FIFA and other places, and they don't feel they're getting their rightful slice of the pie. So whether it's anything to do with that, maybe that might be.
I know they have licensing. Like I've played Football Manager for years. Like they don't have the official badges. They don't have the official. For certain leagues, so like the Premier League, for example, in England, they don't have the official kits and badges and player icons for those because it's a licensing issue, whereas like Germany and Spain, they do. And it's only recently like the German national team is actually in it. Before it was all made up players and stuff. So there's so much licensing in that game. And yeah, I spoke to Miles, who's the director of the game, and he basically said, yeah, it's going to get removed from everywhere. You won't be able to buy it anywhere because it's just a licensing thing.
So is that the same with 21 then, Dom, or are they just...
So 21 will be on sale now, and then it will be, in a year's time, it will be taken off stores as well. I guess it's licensing.
We haven't got 21 yet, so...
No.
Yeah. And then it's like over here, you can buy
go.
Madden 2002 if you wanted to, and you know, but Victor in the chat, Twister, a game that I'd like to see come to the. I don't know how that would work, but you know, right controller wasabi, I guess you could do.
I think it's also worth noting as well, if anybody is concerned about the Football Manager, if you own the game already and you have it, you can still play it, and you'll be able to play it. They're not going to take it from you, which is, I think, one of the things that Stadia, pessimists have been worried about, is that you don't actually own your games and they could take them off you at any point. They're not taking it from you. They're just taking away the ability to purchase it. Same as they did on Xbox 360 with Scott Pilgrim, which coincidentally comes out next year. So,
and if you're on your iPhone and an app gets pulled out of the App Store, you can't buy it anymore.
Can't buy it again.
Until you
I've not been able to get Driller Killer for years down my local Blockbuster.
All the official Flappy Bird.
Or you might try to search for an APK for some apps that if you can find it.
You're on an iPhone, in which case, no bueno there.
Just,
and then lastly,
quickly, sorry, on the subject of Football Manager 21, I think it must be a dispute going on between Google and them. There must be some money or something that hasn't come, or I don't know.
21, yeah.
I don't know why.
They just haven't ported it yet. I mean, it's easier to port an older game than a newer game. So
it's disappointing
because it's with just new stuff.
No, because they basically have to build it for Linux. So and they've dropped Linux support like a couple of years ago for normal sale, but then obviously brought it for Stadia last year. But it's the first dev that we've seen who have released a sequel game and haven't released it on Stadia
yet, being the key. We'll see. And then in other sports news, EA acquiring Codemasters. So add all sports to the racing sports, and there you go. But we have no time to talk about that. If you want to learn more about that, head to StadiaSource.com, your number one source for Stadia news and reviews, where you can see all of that. But you know what, folks? The neighbors might say, what's in this drink? It's time for the hot topic. Yes. So
let them think what they want.
Yeah. So Dom, I have to tell you, we'll talk about this later when we talk about what's happening next week. But I was working on some video this week, and it made me go back to watch a few of our older episodes. And the hot topic was a key feature of it. And so every time we got to the hot topic, and I did the hot topic intro, which everyone loves. I know you all love this very much. So I can just watch your face, and every time it's
I wonder why.
It's a delight. I'm going to make a super cut. I'm going to put my face in your face just over and over again.
I'm going to make a tumbleweed that comes across the bottom of the screen.
Crickets.
Zoom in.
So, guys, the hot topic for this week is Stadia's big week. I tweeted out today, or it might have been today or yesterday. I don't know. Still, that in the past 10 days, let's just recap the past 10 days on Stadia. So here's Stadia's past 10 days. Okay, YouTube streaming, the crowd play expansion, Ubisoft Plus, iOS support, European countries added, and it is the best place to play Cyberpunk for most people. Whew. Like, that's just 10 days of Stadia. That's it. That's all that is. And like, that is now like my most liked, retweeted, whatever ever, at CharmsDA on Twitter. So it's just insane to me, the week that they've had. And part of that going along with it is that these just happened. They just happened. YouTube streaming just appeared one day for everybody.
Yeah.
Ubisoft Plus just appeared, and then there was a tweet, and then the iOS just happened yesterday, day before, and then there was a tweet. And so, like, at this point, Stadia almost seems like they've entered into this 2.0 phase where they're inhabiting their position. They know they've reached it, and they're inhabiting their position. Stadia was not seen as a competitor. They were, but then suddenly Cyberpunk hit, and you want to play Cyberpunk? Well, good luck if you were able to get a PlayStation 5 or a Xbox Series X. Good luck if you have a computer enough to. I see you. I see all y'all. And not at the moment. I'm not. Maybe later. So that's the special thing for just the people who are here in the chat. You won't know. So Cyberpunk, Dom, who is giggling his face off right now, I'm going to make you talk. Tell me your reaction to the crazy week that Stadia has had.
Yeah, it's just it's crazy really when you think about it, that this is the last 10 days that they've done this. Like these big features, iOS, YouTube streaming, Cyberpunk, Ubisoft Plus. They've literally knocked it out of the park. Like a few weeks ago when Justin was saying, again, I could keep referring to him because he's one of the Stadia engineers, but saying Justin Uberti tweeting that they've got, he's too busy to play Cyberpunk. He's got a few more things to finish up for the end of the year. And everyone was like, oh, wonder what that is. Bang, bang, bang. All these features. Yeah, it's a great end to the year, and I think it's been a fantastic first year for Stadia. I retweeted Avery and basically said, yeah, this is like, people forget this is the first real platform launch of a new gaming platform since the original Xbox. Like it's not easy, and it's I'm sure the Stadia team have gone through blood, sweat, and tears, and they've had moments like, oh damn, we should have done this. But then equally, I think Cyberpunk must have been a massive boost for them in the office. How the whole like gaming community and tech sites were all like, hey, actually this is actually kind of good. And we're all sat there like, we've been saying this for 6 months. What are you guys talking about? Super happy, and hopefully they continue building in next year with various other features and games that we don't know about.
It's been really, really fun to see people that have previously bashed Stadia kind of have to eat their words. And they've been using words such as like surprisingly, just to kind of make it look like that what they've put out in the past is like still verbatim, but now all of a sudden Stadia's just out of nowhere come out with this amazing game. But it's not always been like that, when we know fine well that it, for the most part, it has.
Yes.
And also just seeing obviously Stadia kind of just run with it as well. That has been absolutely fantastic to see. So
their sass on Twitter has been fantastic as well.
Been so good to see this. All the little, well, if you want to, I guess you can't play it somewhere else. You can play it like just so good. Rokk, how important was it? And then Anthony after Rokk, how important? Cyberpunk 2077 is obviously the biggest game of the year. Like, despite all the other amazing games that came out, everybody knew. How important was it for Stadia to land this plane and nail it the way that they did?
The answer is, I don't even think we realized just how big it was when, we were going, oh yeah, Cyberpunk's coming to Stadia all those months ago, and thinking, oh, it'd be quite nice to get it day and date. And then when they did the deal, when they got the day and date deal, QLOC did an amazing job of porting this game, and I reckon they worked around the clock to hit those deadlines as well. And even since launch, they've patched it out, and it's now even better. It looks amazing on 1080p now. It's what I've now taken to playing it on performance, because it looks for me, it looks great on CCU with performance and frame rate. It looks absolutely awesome. So they did an amazing job. They got it out there. Then they whammied it with the Premiership Edition deal, which was just manna from heaven. So now the other side of all of this, we look at it and see that it was absolutely massive. It has literally taken Stadia around the corner and over the hill that we've had all these issues in the last few months, as Dom's just said, to see all these journos, the blogs, the big review sites, all of them going, yeah, do you know what? It's actually probably the best place to play it other than PC right now. And people like Eli was just saying in the chat there, one of my favorite videos of the week from Lou, who does an amazing, one of my favorite streamers anyway, favorite content guys, and he's literally going, yeah, it's amazing. It's actually really good. He said, I kind of picked it up in the past, haven't really put a lot of time into it. I thought I'd have a look at it. I've fired it up, played 30 minutes of it. It's amazing. So, I think it's probably the biggest thing this year for Stadia in its first year, because it's just zipped up all the negativity, bagged it up and thrown it out the door. And from now on, we just, apart from, can I say, the downtime I had this week, that's maybe just a little titchy hiccup. But if we put that to one side, I think it's been I think this has made it turn the corner. And it's going to be difficult for all those naysayers to come back from saying now. It's a little bit like they've all said now he is president-elect. They can't go back from that anymore. It's been done now. That's where we are. Stadia is president-elect.
Anthony?
Let me just start off by saying this. One of the funniest things I've seen this week, and please tell me all of you have, and if you didn't, I'm going to send it to you. Please tell me you've seen the meme that said, it showed Baby Yoda, and then it said, and this is thank you. This is Cyberpunk on Stadia, and it was Baby Yoda, and it was this bootleg looking Baby Yoda. So this is Baby Yoda. This is Cyberpunk and everything else. Funniest thing ever. I spent, and I should have stopped, but probably about an hour debating with a friend of mine yesterday, because most of my friends who was in my Destiny group, they said, oh, Anthony, blah, 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 the haters on Stadia, right? So I just continually did my thing. And my one friend, he calls me every now and then, hey, how do I do this on Stadia? And I don't even trash talk, but I just said, oh, yeah, well, you got to do this, you got to do that, whatever. And he called me yesterday and said, I think when my 3-month trial is up, I'm actually gonna subscribe. I said, cool, man, cool. Didn't want to, So my one in our chat, my one friend was like, I might get it now too. I said, let me ask you a question. Why? He's like, oh, well, because the infrastructure is way better. It wasn't this good before. I said, dude, I was making videos, and I pulled up a video that was called the best video for Stadia haters. I said, that video came out, I made it in March. So that's almost a year now. And you see me playing on my phone on 4G, beating. He was like, oh, well, you can't play people. I said, dude, I want a match. I won a racing game. I showed it. I want a match in Destiny, PvP. So I think what Cyberpunk did is it put that, because it ended up being the biggest game of the year, right? And because Stadia it's been playing it so well, and now no one, before it's like, so my friend, what he was trying to say was, oh, well, he pulled up old stuff. Remember people saying, oh, they're going to do negative latency, like they're going to find different ways. He pulled stuff up from almost a year ago, right? I said, and he was like, well, in the past, this is what the issues was. But the thing is, dude, it was still playing fine, and it still plays fine. I said, it's just the people who didn't play it. You guys could keep saying, well, it's better now, but the people who played it know it is. But here's the great thing. Even if you say it, you don't think it was good now, but guess what? You think it's good now. Sorry, even if you said you didn't think it was good then, but now you still, regardless, because that's the past, you still agree to it, and out your mouth, you just said you want to get it now. So I feel like Cyberpunk, what it did is for the haters, now it's like, oh, wow, we really have to agree that cloud technology is good. Like it's playing one of the biggest games of the year, if not the biggest game. And out of all the different places to play it, is one of the best to play it. And even to bring this up, Avery, yes, people on the new consoles are playing it, but they're still playing the old version. The new version didn't come out yet. There isn't a next gen for the PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X yet. So they're still playing, an older version. So that to me, man, this week with with all the other stuff that came out from the Ubisoft Plus, from the me, I've been waiting for the YouTube streaming. This is awesome.
And Stadia needed to get over this wall, to open this gate, Stadia needed a couple of things to happen. Number one, I've said it 1,000 times. The best way to get somebody to understand how good Stadia is to put it in their hand. So, number one, Stadia said, you know what? Everybody can play Destiny 2. You just want to play it, go for it. And then a lot of people are like, I don't really like those kind of games. Okay, great. Bomberman. That's easy. That's a family game. Anybody can pick that up. Now anybody can play Bomberman absolutely free. So now there's literally no reason you can't try Stadia from at least one device in your home. Number two, they said, okay, but the best way to play it is to have a controller in your hand, because that's why, that's where you get the cloud, power of that controller. So let's just give a whole bunch of them away. You got YouTube, you get a Stadia controller. You want to get Cyberpunk, you get a Stadia controller. Then they needed to be able to tell people, and we're kind of a better place to play it, certain games than other folks. So they needed to get Cyberpunk to land, and Cyberpunk landed in a way that no other game on Stadia has, where for the first time, the public said, you kind of got to go with Stadia. If you don't have a good enough computer, or you didn't get one of those new consoles, Stadia is the place you need to do this. And I'm talking Kotaku and IO9, The Verge, these websites, with millions of readers. Of course, 9 to 5 Google is going to say that Stadia is the place to go. Of course, Android Central is going to say that. But when you've got these websites that have previously just don't even include Stadia when they're talking about this new game just got announced, and they just don't even put the word in there. And now they kind of have to, because now we're kind of the best place to play this game for the vast majority of people.
We had to glow up.
We had to glow up. We've been waiting on that moment.
And it makes you wonder. Oh, sorry, Dom, go ahead.
I was just saying, I guess that it's not kind of like a force of habit though thing, right? Because it's been so long since a new platform has come about. So for years, people just been saying Xbox, PS, Switch, PC, and that's it.
Yep.
So it's that, Stadia is still pretty small compared to those. Obviously, we like to think it's growing, and we think it is with the new games and tech and everything, but it is still a small fish. I think it's going to take time before all these tech sites start including it regularly and having updates about it as well.
And we know that they're not done. Like he mentioned, John Justice mentioned today that they've been working on features for all year long that they just silently pushed out there. One of the things he mentioned is, one of the things they want to focus on is getting people into the game faster. So right now, you can click play on Stadia and be playing the game in 2 minutes. And he said, I don't even want it to take 2 minutes. I just want it to happen. So they are clearly focused on making this the most seamless place to play these games and to make it better than everybody else. Eli, thank you for the super chat, mentioned, the Danish krona, ray tracing only on Stadia Pro. Objective thoughts. Do we think that ray tracing is going to be locked to Stadia Pro? And I personally don't think that they're ever going to. I'm going to take my step back. So right now, you can only get 4K if you're on Stadia Pro. There are games that run 1080p with ray tracing on out there. So ray tracing is not necessarily something you have to have 4K to do. And I don't know that necessarily developers are going to want to lock that down behind a subscription, because it's another toggle that they would have to figure out how to make work only in one place or another. Because there's at this point, the most we've ever seen is like a performance mode, resolution mode. That's all we ever see is performance versus graphics. We don't really see a whole lot of graphics toggles. Whereas if you were to pull up that exact same game on a PC, you've got anti-aliasing and FFX and all this other stuff, and we just don't have that on Stadia, because their goal is just click play. It's the best version of the game and run with it. So go ahead, Dom. Yeah.
I just said, if you're not pro, basically, it's just like on YouTube when you're selecting the quality of the video, it's just forcing you to go at one setting. It's still the same video, so you're still going to be getting, if you're not on pro and a game has ray tracing, the ray tracing is still going to be in the game, but just the quality of the stream that you're going to be getting is not going to be 4K. I think that's going to be the only difference. So if ray tracing, when and if it does come to Stadia, I don't see it being locked behind. I think they'd be stupid to lock it behind a paywall mainly both for developer sense, because as you said, it's going to be a pain for them to implement that.
Yeah,
so,
and it will.
Go on.
Yeah, I was gonna say it would be to your point. It would be such a bonus for Stadia to be able to say we have ray tracing, and not because and the ray tracing is probably the most next gen thing, right? So if we think of next gen, I think of ray tracing and the PlayStation DualSense controller, right? So which I haven't tried it yet, but it sounds like it's the next gen thing, right? So why would you want to? You would because you would have the haters say, oh, but you got to pay for ray tracing. They upgrade. They would say now you're paying. How Stadia said when we go to Gen 2, whatever, it's going to be free, right? That's what we always thought of. But when you think of ray tracing, you kind of think of like, oh, you got to have a powerful PC or this new technology. It's next gen ish. So if we had to pay for it, we would be paying for Generation 2. So they probably want to stay clear of that.
And you have to do that now on GeForce Now, right, Rokk? You have to, if you want ray tracing, you have to be subscribed to the higher tier.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I don't know. I am. So I don't. Yeah, I don't know that I've not seen the lower tier.
I spoke to Chase about this on his stream a few weeks ago, and it was all hypothetical, but it was like in the future when or if Stadia ever do like 8K 120 FPS streams, right? Do you think that there'll be different tiers of pro in the same sense that at the moment, like Netflix has a base tier, and then there are different tiers of Netflix subscription, allowing you more screens and better quality or whatever? Do we think that might be an option for Stadia later on, like way in the distance? I don't think that's anytime soon, but and then it might help them limit some of their bandwidth or something. I don't know.
I could see them bumping everybody who's not pro up to 4K and then making 8K the next standard that you have to have pro for.
Yeah.
But I guess obviously for them though, that's increasing their cost because they're having to send more data.
But at that point, one of the things that they've been working on that John Justice mentioned on the podcast earlier today is just the tech. Like the tech is getting better and doing things to reduce the bandwidth. So as they keep rolling out these new codecs and the AV1 launches and whatever comes after that, in fact, there's a very fascinating discussion on this with 6 pioneers of the gaming industry that you can watch on Cloudburst this past Saturday, where we talked about the future of resolution and performance of Stadia. I think that their goal will always be to get you more quality with less bytes passed. And so because that also helps every other thing they do. That helps YouTube, that helps YouTube Music, the ability to stream you a higher quality product at less bandwidth. That also helps them in emerging markets where you're only going to be using 4G, maybe you're only going to be using 3G, and they're always going to be a G behind us. That you've got to get more to them with less data. So I think that's always kind of going to be where they push toward.
It helps the end user as well, right? If they have data cap or something.
Yeah. And in fact,
I'd like to see them drop the whole 2-tiered 4K 1080p thing anyway. I'd like it to be simply everybody gets all the features. It looks amazing for everyone. The only difference is if you subscribe, you get access to this library of over 300 games. A la Luna. That's what I'd like to see. I mean, I don't. Why restrict it? And if anything, it's not giving people the full experience for them to go, have you seen how amazing it looks? I mean, it still looks good, but we know, because we're paying for it, that it looks really good if you pay the extra money. And I would like to see that made a bit more.
My only counter with that, Rokk, is Stadia had to find a way to make money, right? Yeah. Because it is free. So it's kind of like they have to, I want everybody to make money, right? That's, at the end of the day, it's a business.
I'm not saying get rid of the subscription at all. I'm saying, give everyone the 4K, but if you pay, you get the library. You get to play those games.
Yes.
Yeah.
But how much of that is at the beginning? They had to have some. When there were only 4 games in Pro, there was no reason to be subscribed to Pro.
No, I get it. First year it made sense. Second year, let's democratize it. Everybody gets it. You get the games.
particularly
hope
like
so.
when the newer codecs come out, or when the when it launches on the Chromecast, the new Chromecast that's super high end, something like that. I suspect they probably will, but
That'll
we'll
be
find
good.
out.
That'll be good.
And when they do, hot dog, will that be great? There's just a reference to Victor's super sticker that you can't see on the YouTube when I click the button because
Yeah, bless
StreamYard
him.
doesn't do that, but it was a hot dog, so we appreciate the hot dog, Victor. Thanks for sending us that way. I definitely think that it's funny that we've said this so many times that Stadia's turned a corner, because they just keep turning these corners, and every single corner they turn just gets better and better. They turned a corner with their advertising strategy. They turned a corner with the technology. They turned a corner with the game library, and now they've turned a corner in the market. And we are finally getting to the point where if you search for Stadia on Twitter, you still get the 5 people playing Stadia, but the majority. I do this. Y'all know I do this because those of you who are friends with me on Twitter just see "Welcome to Team Stadia," "Welcome to Team Stadia," and I hear about it all the time. But as I'm scrolling down, I do that to kind of give a friendly face to the community side of the platform, and I don't have to scroll as far as I used to find people saying I'm enjoying Stadia. Like it used to be, and you have to scroll and scroll and scroll, and that just doesn't happen anymore. And that's really only changed within the past 4 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks. So clearly, Stadia's turned a corner, and it's a good corner to have turned. So 2021 coming out.
See, something I wanted to say earlier was that, like, in 2021, what other games are going to be coming out? Probably not as big as Cyberpunk, just because I think obviously that part of Cyberpunk's appeal is that it's been going for ages. But how many other games are going to come out that it turns out Stadia is the best platform to play it on? I mean, we had a similar issue with Baldur's Gate, wasn't it, where people were having to install the game and then they went, "Oh, screw it, I'll just go and play it on Stadia because it's immediate." We had one streamer do it in the middle of a stream once. So
see, I think Stadia was not lucky, but it was good timing because the Xbox Series X and PS5, one were in like demand and you couldn't find them anywhere, and also their specific versions aren't out yet. So I'm guessing when they come out in the next year, they will look as good as the hardware can run it. Right. So at the moment they're running the last gen versions, right? Yep. Obviously, it's faster hardware, so it's going to run better than on the PS4, where it looks like someone's actually emulating a PS1. But yeah.
I mean, they had to land. Like, they had a window in which they had to have something happen to disrupt the X versus 5 mode. And maybe they did get lucky with Cyberpunk, that Cyberpunk happened to be the one where, because, I mean, you look at like the apology that came out from CD Projekt Red going, yeah, we kind of, the older versions just kind of sucked and we didn't really do enough to fix that. So it just this perfect storm of the millions of people where they could play the game was pretty bad. And
sorry, Avery, I didn't mean to do that. Yeah. What's fascinating is QLock. If you have a look at them, I think they're Polish, certainly Eastern European.
They're Polish.
Now, their thing is they port games. Right now, they happened to port Cyberpunk to Stadia and did an amazing job. They equally could have ported Cyberpunk to PlayStation 4 and Xbox, but they didn't. And the copies for those two weren't great. And the point, sorry, Dom, the point I was just going to make was, apart from the fact that I think, yeah, that's really cool, I actually think the bigger point is I don't know this, I wouldn't be surprised if the funding of that port didn't emanate from a certain company that begins with G. I also think that is a thing that they're probably doing now with most of the big titles that are coming through. I think it may well be that a whole load of those are going through QLock. I'm sure there's a ton of other outfits.
Resident Evil Village.
Yeah, right. Absolutely, for the port. And I think what there is underneath what we're seeing, there's an ecosystem of agencies that are being lined up purely to satisfy the porting of games, which is being funded by Stadia underneath what we know. Which I think is why 21 is going to be fascinating, because I think we're going to see a hell of a lot of day and dates, a hell of a lot.
And Stadia will be the best place to play them. At least that's the goal.
That's the goal.
We want to know how y'all felt about the launch of Cyberpunk. Tell us, out of all the things, and Dan, I didn't tell you to make a poll for this, so you don't have to, but head over, tag us at Stadiasource on Twitter, and let us know what you think out of all the big stuff that launched in the past week, what you think the biggest one was. Was it iOS? Was it crowd play? Was it YouTube streaming? Tell us what made you most excited when you head over there. Rokk, thank you so much for joining us on the panel this week. I appreciate always love having you, no matter what. But if people don't know where to find you on the interwebs, tell them where they can go.
Yes, well, on YouTube, it is YouTube /Rokks, ROKKS, on Stadia Rocks, at Stadia Rocks, sorry, on Twitter. I do a bit of dual streaming on Twitch and Facebook and stuff, but it's really around YouTube. It just gets restreamed out. Very vocal on Twitter. You can usually find me kicking around there. And 4 or 5 times a week doing stuff which involves streaming.
Very, very fun, and we're glad to have you. And thank you to everybody that hung out in the chat with us tonight. We really do appreciate all of you hanging around with us and chatting and engaging in the chat. From Kumna to Roger to Nakanu to Stadia Vet Gaming. I saw you in there earlier, and Eddie and a whole bunch of our friends. So we really appreciate you all being around there. One real quick note: if you head over to StadiaSource.com right now, at the top of the page, or over on our Twitter, pinned to the top, is a post letting you know that we're hiring. We have already brought in a few more folks to the team. We'll be announcing them very soon. Some of those you will see popping up. But we still have a couple of openings in the review team, the stream team, dream team, and the newsroom. So if you would like to become a part of what we're doing here, go ahead and get your application in now, because there have been dozens and dozens and dozens of people who have applied to join Stadia Source team, and we're starting to make some decisions for 2021. So don't miss your opportunity to join the team. Also, next week's podcast, if you tune in, it's Christmas Eve, and we're having our first ever Holly Jolly Christmas Time Cavalcade. So you don't want to miss all the joyous winter joyfulness that we'll be bringing you during next week's Holly Jolly Christmas Time Cavalcade. So be sure you tune in. Check out the Stream Team Dream Team playing all week long here on Source Feed Live. We are making a network of shows for you to watch, including Charm City's Community Playground, Scarlet's Ready Gamer 1, All Purpose Champs, Power Up Plus, F-Tendo's Dad Time Gaming and Brews and Bruises, Dom's Stadia Domination, Blue Bob's The Breaking Point, and debuting tomorrow on the Source Feed Live, The Hotspot with Ija Mix. Ija Mix is our newest member of the Stream Team Dream Team. We love the guy, and we're so excited to bring him to you as part of the Stream Team Dream Team. And of course, coming in January, the Stadia Game Show. We also want to say a big thank you to all of those folks that show us a little bit of love with that join button down below, such as all these folks in the crystal tier, the platinum tier, the gold tier, the silver tier, the bronze tier, those folks who bought us a coffee, and all of our past patrons. We absolutely appreciate each and every one of you. So thank you for hitting that join button down below. And if you've ever hit those, the super chats, the super stickers, we really appreciate that as well. Panel, so good to talk to you all today. I won't be seeing you here in the next little bit because it's the holidays. So I wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Hanukkah, Merry Yule, all that, Hanukkah, all that good stuff. Dan, have a great rest of your week and weekend as well.
Thank you very much, and you guys too.
Dom, good to see you.
Hope everyone has a fantastic Christmas.
And Anthony, you as well.
You guys could catch me at 7 o'clock right here on the channel doing the Power Up Plus.
Tonight, Power Up Plus. If you're listening to the podcast, you can join us live most Thursday evenings right here on YouTube. And if you're watching us on YouTube, you can download our podcast on Spotify, Pocket Casts, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and wherever else you get podcasts. You can follow us on Twitter at Stadia Source, like us on Facebook, Hanukkah Sameach, and join our Discord at stadiasource.com/. It means have a happy Hanukkah. No, it's have a happy Hanukkah. You guys.
All right, okay.
Tomorrow's the last night of Hanukkah. And you can even wear Stadia Source when you're out and about by going to stadiasource.com/merch. The music at the top of the show is Somewhere in the Neighborhood. I Broke Dom by Bad Snacks. Check out her music at
There's a new phrase.
badsnacks.com. Hosting for stadiasource.com generously provided by Rokk. You can find out more about the technical expertise provided by Rokk at rokk.co.uk. If you haven't already, down below is a thumbs up button that lets us know you liked the show, and right next to it is a subscribe button that lets you know every time we post a new video. You can also become a member of the Stadia Source channel by clicking the join button down below with great perks at every level of your budget. On behalf of Dan, the editor-in-chief of Stadia Source, because that question in the chat, and myself, the YouTube manager, the lowly YouTube manager.
Oh,
Thank you
bless
for
him.
joining us here on the Stadia Source Roundtable podcast. We appreciate each and every one of you. Have a good one.
Thanks.